everyone. Welcome. A lot of you, I recognize your faces from last time, so it's really nice to see you again. And for those of you who are new, welcome. Really happy to have you here. My name is Chris, and I'm the Special Events Associate here at the Japan Society of Boston. And with me is the lovely Joanne, who is our Communications Associate. And she's going to help me with the logistical, behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, so really happy to see you all here. We are starting the Kagerō Diary, or the Gossamer Diary. And as we know, it's written by the Mother of Michitsuna and translated by Edward Seidensticker. And we read the introduction and the first book, because it's split up into 3 books, as we know. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, or refresh our memories about the important people. We have our authoress here in the middle, who is the Mother of Michitsuna. I like to call her Lady Kagerō because I feel like it gives her a little bit more humanity. And also there is a tradition of naming unnamed authors after their works. So I call her Lady Kagerō, but her official name is Michitsuna no Haha. And then we have her husband here, Fujiwara no Kaneye. And then, of course, we have the translator, Mr. Seidensticker, who, oh, I don't see her. I hope she comes. We have a member who was a friend of Seidensticker. Very exciting. This is Janice. So hopefully, when she gets here, we can talk to her about that because that's super cool. She should be coming. And so I want to introduce everybody to that. I thought I would cover a couple of general historical facts just to get us in the right mindset. So a little bit about the history. Fujiwara no Kaneye, as was introduced in the diary, was one of the first really big, important Fujiwara regents of the Heian period. And he had a lot of power, obviously, but he is also famous for being the father, not just of Michitsuna, who we met in the book, but also of Fujiwara no Michinaga, who was a very powerful, he was the most powerful Fujiwara regent. He took over after Kaneye died, and not directly, there was a couple of people in between, but he took over fairly quickly after Kaneye's death. And he is important to note because many scholars believe that, or there is a theory that Fujiwara no Michinaga actually commissioned Murasaki Shikibu to write the tale of Genji, because Murasaki Shikibu was in the entourage of the Empress Shoshi, which was his daughter. And there are reasons for this, which I'm not going to get into today, because if I do, it'll be a spoiler, because they're talked about later on in the book. So look forward to that. But this was also one of the first Japanese proses, which was written by a woman, which is really cool. And it's known for its striking realism, its swift narrative, and its vivid imagery. And then also to put the translation into context a little bit, Seidensticker first translated this in 1953, or he was funded in 1953 by the CIA, because it was kind of an effort to humanize the Japanese after World War II. And then later on, the translation we're reading is a re-edited translation, as we know, because he talked about it in the introduction in the 1960s. UNESCO wanted that. So I just thought I'd point that out a little bit. I also have this, I love this quote from his introduction. It's pretty great. This diary is, in a sense, the Mother of Michitsuna's protest against the marriage system of the time and her exposition of the thesis that men are beasts. It's a pretty great line. I'm sure you all noticed it and have a lot to say about it, but I thought I'd share it. And I just have a little bit of a map of some of the important secondary characters, the name that they're known in the work, and also their name that we know them by historically, which we can reference when we need to. I also have a list of the major events that happened, like the start of their courtship, obviously, and other things like her father getting sent away, the Lady of the Alley, all that. I also wanted to share this. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this, but this is really kind of culturally significant. Some of you are probably familiar with the Ogura Hyakunin Isshu, the collection of 100 poems, each by a different poet who was very famous in Japanese history. The Mother of Michitsuna is one of them. And the poem, her poem is poem 53. And the one that is selected to really represent her is the one on page 38 of the book, which is, "Do you know how slow the dawn can be when you have to wait alone?" So I wanted to point that out because that's a really significant poem. She is identified by that as ever since she wrote it. That's just been her thing. And it really does kind of sum up her literary existence and her literary legacy. And then I just have the beginning little paragraph here that was written in the third person that we can reference. And the last line where the name of the diary, the Kagerō Nikki, comes in because it is a reference, as we learned in the introduction, to this line, "a shimmering of the summer sky."